Yes, and I got it right. Okay, good. Whew. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 of Poppy. Oops. Poppy versus NLD. We're being asked to show the build viewer the entire time, so I'd love some feedback from you guys if that build viewer is annoying or not. So I'm going to try to keep it in the corner, so it's out of the way at least. All right, so Puddin', I'll start with the first group here, and then you can talk about Team Red. Sound good?
Okay.
All right, so Poppy, Team Green, is bringing with them a Kremlin, St. Vincent for battleships. For chibi battleships, I see a Stalingrad that is range build. They've got 2 Des Moines, 1 is legendary, 2 is legendary. Interesting, one of them is going for radiolocation, the other one going for top grade gunner. And then we have ourselves a Reload Salem, followed by a legendary Gearing, a legendary Torpedo Spec Shimakaze, and a standard Daring. Puddin', what do we got to the south for Team NLD?
Well, considering I have no mods on, I can't give you any builds, but we've got a Montana Kremlin, a DM, a Moskva. Moskva, I would assume, would be Ledge mod.
Yes, both of those two are.
Marsili, because I can't pronounce French names, a Venezia, a Shimakaze, a Gearing, and a Daring, and I would suspect the Gearing would be a Ledge mod also.
Yes, your suspicion is correct. Oh, that's not good. I've got the ship band thing that floats right over the build viewer. When there are so many things that you're trying to show at once. Okay, well, this is gonna be in the way. I'll have to think about that, guys. But in any case, that's what we've got.
On the red team, we've got the Shimmy Venezia going to A cap with the Montana. Moskva parking up behind B to protect the Daring, or at least to watch him get shot at for a couple of seconds.
Mm-hmm.
The Gearing is heading over to C. Interesting that there was no smoke trail for Des Moines to try to get to the island at F8. It is usually a standard tactic.
Well,
the Kremlin is taking up position. Minish, like on 8-7 line. Marcel is going out wide, I presume to protect the flank.
Most likely, yes. Now, early action at B as Des Moines has been brought into the typical Des Moines spot north of B. He's got his radar banging away, but nobody really has a shot on Ronald the King's Daring. Joe Awashi just got detected somehow. I think he shot his gun. I don't understand why. Because now they know exactly where he is, and they can just keep guessing. Where RPF's Moskva is spotted and within radar range of Joe Awashi. But no need to radar if he's getting free hits. Just fishing. This is causing the reset on the cap, which is huge because if you look at it, NLD just got the first cap over at A. C cap is a bit of a fight as Zigguran's Gearing will most likely get the cap, and then Chaos Umbra's Daring is going to just back right into it seconds after getting the cap. But this is valuable points ticking up as the Moskva is probably going to radar in a sec. The Shimakaze making inky and trying to run away.
Moskva is wisely having radar or hydro running, but in all honesty, I think that's a waste of a hydro. You have the Daring in front of you with the hydro. It's going to spot the torps. That may or may not come back to bite you in the butt. But if you are running Superintendent, it gives you a little bit liberal use of, I can just waste one.
You talking about the Daring?
The Moskva or the Daring, like either or, but like the Daring's going to spot the torps well before Moskva will, even if the Daring doesn't.
You're
have
talking
hydro going
about the B.
B cap.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right. That's something that, I try to work with, if you see something going on, if you're calling out a ship, if you can, also identify the location. Just makes it a little bit easier for everybody to understand.
I blame Sea Raptor.
Hey, frankly, that's something that, he and I kind of miss up with too sometimes. So don't, it's not a big
No,
deal.
no. Interesting. A cap got flipped over.
Well, yeah, it's kind of what happens when you shove a Kremlin in.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you have a shimmy and a Venezia. You're never gonna hold the cap,
No, and
right?
they're not meant
Because
to.
you've got a Des Moines, like Poppy sent the Des Moines over, which means I can control this cap until you kill me.
Hmm.
And if you play that correctly, good luck because you have to come out broadside to get me out of here.
Right. But if you look at
Shimmy, he's getting shot at B, but he's dark. Do the Moines is spotted at Bravo?
if you look at the way that they're set up at A, NLD is definitely a kite setup at A. So they got the cap early because, frankly, Poppy wasn't set up properly. But now they got it. But look at the gearing that was at A. That's RJ. He's been spotted somehow and just took a big Venezia hit. I don't understand how he was spotted unless he just shot his gun for no good reason.
Maybe backed up into 8.5 kilometer radar from Salem, which you should be fully aware of.
I would think it's actually Moskva radar. I'm sorry, that's Poppy, so that's north of B. You're talking about the other gearing over at C, and I see that now. He is quite low too.
Yep. Too many gearings.
See
Guys, stop taking all the same ships.
See what I mean about confusion of where we're talking about? So that's on me because I didn't say where.
No, that's fine. It's early. We're
But
going to blame time zones for this.
Ziggurin manages to save his ship though, and that's key. For now, at least. As look at the St. Vincent. The St. Vincent is clearing the fidget spinner island. He's getting around. Oh no, this could be catastrophic. The Marseille takes a big hit from the St. Vincent. Marseille showed too much side. I don't know why he did this.
More importantly, is how much is the St. Vincent going to take to get this kill on the Marcel?
You know what should happen is the Marseille should ram the St. Vincent. That needs to happen, but I don't think it's going to because Zudwind is trying to save his ship. Here comes the funny torpedo. It's gonna miss. But so much health has been lost just for this Marseille. He can't ram anymore. Here's the funny torp. Oh, he takes it on the face. He's showing side. St. Vincent's showing side now. Marseille shoots too far forward and overpens the bow. He's going for the ram. And he succeeds! That's what needed to happen. NLD coming up with that ram, but losing the Venezia over at A at the same time. Oof.
That's... You know, that shouldn't have happened with the Stalingrad. Stalingrad should have at least taken up a position coming down with them. He didn't have to go past the island, but, you know, that's extra shots on that Marcel, which may stop him from getting the ram to give your St. Vincent time because now you're down a battleship.
Yep.
So what threatens your cruisers anymore?
Right.
You know, just the Kremlin.
Right. And I agree. There was no reason for a solo push like that.
At B, we got double radars going off and nobody spotted. Interesting. Daring's getting low. He must have been spotted for a half second.
Ronald the King's daring, yeah. He's on radar right now. He's on the Des Moines radar, so he is being shot at by the Salem. Moskva is shooting back. But if you look at the top here, Poppy has all 4 caps. All 4 of them. Or sorry, all 3.
Yes, because
3 caps.
3 now becomes 4, guys.
It's early, like you said.
We're giving them their home cap. That's an A1. They
There
control
are
A1.
4 lights. Anyway, look at NLD just sending this Kremlin. I mean,
The enemy is about to win.
they gotta do
What's
something,
to stop
Puddin'.
them?
They gotta do something. Ronald the King is on fire. Nope, he DCP'd. He's in smoke. Very low health. Out of heals. And here we go. Here's our heads up. Stalingrad versus Kremlin. Fight.
Well, I mean, you forget that Des Moines involved in this, but you can't afford a ram.
Who's you?
Uh, NLD couldn't afford that RAM. The Kremlin's now too low to make any sort of significant push.
Well, there's two important things
Fantasy?
about this, right? Is one, ramming damage and flood damage is 100% repairable. You can see that gigantic faded bar means that's all. It's all healable hit points. Two, if you look at his position right now, he's got an extra piece of armor attached to the side of his ship in that sinking Stalingrad. Look at him. He's literally... I need to screenshot this because he's literally just on top of the Stalingrad. I mean, this is ridiculousness, guys. So...
But, you know, with all that awesome armor, you're still nowhere near that cap.
This is true. But it does allow him to go up and get behind the Salem. Now, if he gets behind the Salem and the Des Moines pushes in the front of the Salem, they can make something happen. I do not like Zigarin moving forward like this, though, because he's going to get in the cap that will trigger Poppy's radar. Monkey Biz is going to radar. There it is. Now, Darren goes down and B. So this is pretty much game, guys. This is pretty much game. Zigarin is going to be forced to duck to the side, try to draw Monkey Biz's Salem up, but the Des Moines is right behind. And now he's detected on the radar.
Yeah, but I mean, even a shimmy shooting at the Garen, because they know once the Garen goes down, this push is almost meaningless.
And there he goes. Bit of a desync there, guys. We saw this all last weekend, unfortunately. Gearing takes down the Salem. Beautiful torpedo salvo.
I mean, way to keep playing. Way to keep going. You know, you are down the DD. You're gonna get C-cap. Like, all Poppy's got to do is just not be at sea anymore, and the shimmy's fine. You know, the Kremlin's got to take a very aggressive approach to get into B, which means he's going through the middle. It's the same thing with the Des Moines. You know, the Kremlin, Des Moines at A are still very healthy. Montana's low. Shimmy for NLD is low. You know, Poppy just gets to play the waiting game.
Pretty much. And
luckily for us, we have a minute to wait.
Des Moines popped in there. So basically at this point, the question is who's going to die next, right? Because whoever dies next ends the game. Or we got 54 seconds. Everybody's opening up. I think the Montana is probably next to die, although the Shimakaze just opened up too. Torps on Des Moines. One hits. Oof. Oh, the second one hit too. That Des Moines is so low.
He's sealing up, but I mean, that's where you park a Des Moines. Easily reverse, and now I have Spaced Island armor. Good luck.
Right?
Not even Yamato goes through that. Moskva from B has come out of Spaced Island armor to get shots in on the Kremlin at A. We have Des Moines slap fighting going on, and that's game.
That is indeed game. Poppy wins round 1. Congratulations go to them. I'm going to do something real quick. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 of Poppy versus NLD. Remember, this is a best of 3. Ohio and Kleber have been banned. Puddin', why don't you talk to us about the Poppy lineup this time? Does that work for you, sir?
Oh, darn. I was just set up for NLD, but sure, no problem. Let's see.
Sorry.
Poppy brings in a Daring, Gearing. I believe the Gumo is new and the Z42 is new.
Yes.
There is a Brisbane, a Stolly, a Des Moines, a Vermont, and a St. Vincent. So they traded Kremlin for Vermont.
Yes, they did. A couple of things to note. Stalingrad is range mod. Des Moines is legendary, as you would expect. The other big one is the Karagumo, of course, is the 420 Blaze It build. He's running full smoke including the legendary or unique upgrade. Gearing is also legendary, with extra smoke as well. Interesting. And the daring is kind of our standard build. And opposing them to the south, NLD, hoping to take a game off of Poppy, has a ship that's... Oh, he's moving now. Okay. We've got Montana and Kremlin. We've got Venezia, legendary Moskva, Marsilli, as you like to call it, legendary Des Moines. Followed up with a legendary Gearing on that side, a standard Daring, and a torpedo spec Shimakaze. Both teams going for a bit of a... Well, I was saying that, but look at the Daring and Z42. Interesting.
What I find more interesting is the Gumo is going to smoke the Des Moines. Possibly a Stalingrad. Advised against that maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
And the Gearing is clearly going to be smoking the Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought maybe the Gumo smokes Brisbane because the Gumo gets caught, Brisbane radars, and then you just pow whatever's spotting you.
That's true. Instead, the Gumo's playing on the other side,
where there is plenty of island cover.
Yeah.
Which means, I mean, typically you're going to get the Des Moines to, what is it, E9 Island?
Mm-hmm.
Gearing Smoke does that just fine, as we can clearly see from NLD.
Yeah, you know...
But
Go ahead.
I was going to say the Des Moines taking up the typical Des Moines spot, even for random battles, right behind the big island where the Stalingrad's going.
You talking about Poppy's Des Moines?
NLD's Des Moines at sea.
Mm-hmm.
I should say.
Right. What I'm finding interesting is the Poppy's Des Moines. I expected him to go to that opposite side, but if you look, he's actually following the Gumo. I have a feeling they're going to try to use that legendary smoke from the Gumo to smoke that Des Moines all the way to the island at Echo 9. Where RPF's Moskva was detected, I mean, he's going to the very spot where last week we saw a Moskva disappear, literally disappear in the first 3 minutes of the match. Now, where RPF was much more fortunate than that Moskva. Daring is smoking because the Moskva caught him up on radar. But Ronald did get spotted momentarily because he fired a little quickly. The important thing about that is it tells Poppy, hey, that's where the Daring is. Now they know the Gearing and Shimakaze are off on the flanks, which you'd expect anyways. But it gives them confirmation. Radar going down. Bit of a programming note.
At sea from Poppy just took a nice little hit.
Well, he got spotted before he was expecting to get spotted, and as such, he's forced to go defensive. That is a unfortunate, I guess you could say, miscommunication about detection.
Ooh, St. Vincent takes 2 torps, maybe 3 from at sea.
Yeah.
Poppy's St. Vincent.
Gearing's torpedoes. And now he's broadside to John's Kremlin and spotted and trying to back up. Interesting. He's got a heel going. His DCP is also down.
There's so much going on. I don't know what to comment on first, but I believe the Gumo not instantly smoking when the Des Moines got spotted, I think was a slight mistake. That's a legendary mod. The Vermont for Poppy at between A and B.
Oh, look at the Daring.
Interesting. Look
at the Daring at B. Sorry to cut in on you, but he just went down. First blood going to Poppy. Brilliant play there, using the 2 destroyers to just execute him.
Well, I think the Vermont was in on that due to, like I said, this very interesting position.
This is where we saw
the Vermont can go dark.
Yeah, and he just did. This is where we saw a Salem play before.
Ooh, St. Vincent from
Poppy.
Poppy just went down.
But I love this, like, they all
NLD
pushed.
is doing a huge
Funny
push.
Funny Torp just barely missed the gearing. I love this push. I love everything about it. Usually we see teams make little itty bitty pushes. We saw that last time too. One ship just went in and that was it. This time, we're seeing it done right. John took a lot of damage in the Kremlin though to make that push happen.
Luckily, he's in gearing spout, but more importantly, he's not shooting, probably because nothing's spotted that he can hit anyways. But, I mean, still, he's not shooting. Des Moines, luckily, is dark also.
Yeah, he's in the Haragumo smoke. He is shooting at Sharum's Des Moines, though. He's showing a broadside and forced to think very skinny thoughts with these torpedoes coming in. That keeps him sideways to that Des Moines for longer than he wants to be. And here comes the Stalingrad now. Brilliant play by Captain Obvious, realizing he doesn't want to come up broadside to the Des Moines and Kremlin. So he's running away.
Interesting, the NLD Moskva has been taking shots at Poppy's Vermont. Kind of surprised he hasn't peeked out a little bit to get the Stalingrad, because Stalingrad was broadside a little bit to him. You have to trade some of your HP pool to be getting damages on the enemy team. But that also means Stalingrad is in a 2v1 fight at least. Showing somebody broadside until he gets island spaced armor.
Well, you can see the Moskva coming up, trying to get those pot shots on Captain Obvious. And remember, Stalingrad burns quite nicely now.
Everything burns quite nicely, except for a submarine.
But what I mean is, since the captain rework, there is no fire prevention, so he can get 4 fires, and then of course he's a large cruiser? Is that what they call it technically? There's the extra fire duration.
Cruiser.
John is getting focused down heavily now.
Interesting. A flip for NLD. They are just they're just doing the W strat of, you know what? We're not going to wait for the last 5 minutes. We're just going to force the issue today, right now.
I like it. NLD, you know, got
the
beat back pretty
Kremlin
hard.
at sea is getting low. Flying shots are still coming in.
He's got his DCP was up for a second. His heal's available in 5 seconds. But he needs to, like, I don't know, he needs to find a taller rock. There goes his heal. Oh, Captain Obvious is going to kill him right here. No. Oof. There he goes. Des Moines and the Gumo together. Just so much spam coming out of that smoke. As the Des Moines does take a torpedo from the gearing for his trouble while having hydro on. Got a little
that was
focused.
just to activate AR. We all know that.
He got a little focused on the Kremlin kill there.
But I mean, more importantly, you got to trade some of your health to be giving out some damages, and you traded better than the Kremlin. Focus fire coming in on the Poppy Stalingrad. That is just going. Listen, guys, I want to get to A. Please leave me alone.
Yes. He is continuing to back off.
Des Moines and Moskva do have to be careful of Poppy's Vermont. Ooh, Vermont shells coming in on Moskva at Bravo.
I see him. Nice connection there. As we've got, we haven't talked about A much, but got ourselves a death snail on both sides. And there's just some heavy back and forth contesting.
Let's see. Z42 is taking some damages here. He's not trading well against the gearing.
I had a feeling that was coming. The gearing was playing very aggressively, trying to keep the Des Moines and Gumo spotted for his Marseille and Des Moines friends. So I had a feeling they were going to bump. Now, radar is up from Shadum, but it's just outside of Egray's. Like, look how close that line is. Wow.
Hey, Cap got flipped yet again while we were not paying attention because excitement at A is just not as exciting as the excitement at B because there's a Maspa in the middle of the map that just went down.
He sallied forth and died. Yeah. A little surprised by that decision. I think they got a little aggressive trying to take out that Stalingrad. The Stalingrad just kind of said, yeah, go away. But it's been a lot of back and forth. But we say that. Look at this Venezia. Look at the torps coming on the Venezia. He takes one on the bow.
Poppy is in very good control of this map. Like, the only ship that is out of position would be Stalingrad, who said, no, I want to live.
I don't like this Marseille's decision here. Look at the Marseille at sea. He's going into the channel. Now, in so doing, he's telling Poppy, hey, go ahead and have C. And I get that he's probably looking right at that smoke. Yep, he's looking right at that smoke. The problem is, nobody's going to spot for him. He's going to have to blind fire the Des Moines that's shooting from smoke for free. Ah, torpedo, another torpedo hitting the Venezia there. Brilliant torpedo salvo by that Gearing as the Brisbane at A is almost down. 750 hit points. It's got to heal in 36 seconds. Montana's taking one torpedo from the Gearing as well. That's a feels bad because there's more torpedoes from the Brizzy coming. Brizzy being blind fired behind the smoke. If I'm that Brizzy...
That's good awareness to know that he's behind the smoke and not in the smoke. But, I mean, Shimmy is pushing forward.
I'll tell you, if I'm that Brizzy, I am not opening up right here. I can't afford to take a single shell hit at 750 hit points if I'm that Brizzy.
Yeah, but see, you're not thinking about your KOTS PR, are you?
No. He also knows he's on stream, right? Hi, Mom. I'm on camera. Monkey Biz does get the heel going.
I mean, I don't like the Marsilli leaving C, but at the same point, what option does he have?
That is true. And as you can see, Poppy just walked right in and took it. So, okay. If that's the case, then that means that NLD...
The daring
Chaos.
at Bravo is getting focused.
He's lit on radar by Shadum, and he goes down.
He goes down.
But Arcada's got Vermont shells coming in. Oh, connection. Remember, Gearing does not get a heal.
This is
Why is he shooting still?
Game.
Why is he shooting still? Why are you shooting still?
Maybe to get the Vermont to slow down.
Is this the KOTS PR you're talking about?
Oh, of course.
Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, the Stalingrad is coming in and slapping around with the Gumo in support. Oh, this Des Moines might take a torp here. Shadum takes a torp and goes down to the Gumo. That's crucial.
I mean, to be frank, why wouldn't you shoot in a Gearing? Who does the Vermont want to shoot? One of the cruisers or the Daring? Or Gearing?
Yeah, but look at this. The Marseille showing too much side now to the Stalingrad. They do take the Vermont down at least. But the Marseille needs to, like, not show side to the Stalin here. He's got a motor. He's doing that. Full speed ahead. But look, there's a Des Moines hot on his tail. And he knows it's a French ship. There's no turrets in the rear to shoot him. Why is he...
His secondaries, but more important, this is a 3v1. He doesn't last.
No.
Once the Z rounds the corner, maybe a 4v1. I'm sure he's screaming right now, respect the 1v1, and they're going, no.
Yep. And Zuidwind is going to go down. There he goes. Arcada's Gearing is going to be next on the plate for Team Poppy, and I'm pretty sure that will be game when that happens. I'll tell you, this was a much more competitive match on the side of NLD. It looked for a while like they were going to pull it off.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
And then everything just fell.
Poppy did a good job of trading HP, giving up ground when he needed to, and then just will come back and get it.
Enemy is about to win.
Right? I think one of the greatest words of advice Mr. Hapafada ever gave anybody was, it's not who gets the cap first, it's who controls it the longest.
Okay.
Right, and that's what Poppy has done. Right, like, we'll just come back and get the caps when it's safe.
Heads up, can you do me a big favor? Can you get out of here and look for DMC in the training room? Back out of this game.
DMC?
DMC.
Okay.
As in DeLorean motor car. Ooh, Brizzy goes down on the side of Poppy. That will extend the game a little bit, unfortunately for us. Gearing goes down as a counter. That leaves 2 ships remaining for NLD. Shimakaze and Montana.
Okay. A&D versus Munch.
That is correct. That's our next scheduled match. They ran their first game already. If you don't mind, can you also go to those map pick bands and figure out who's banned what?
Give me 1 second.
NLD Shimakaze is going to go down here. And when that happens, we're going to see about 30 seconds until game ends.
Let's see.
Assuming this gearing can hit the Shima, he's been missing a lot of shells. There he goes. 45
Let's see.
seconds.
Yeah, I got the bands up already.
All right. Okay. What are our bans, sir?
A&D banned Brisbane, Munch banned Clubber, and both teams banned Loop. The pick maps is A&D, I believe, picked the North spawn for...
Okay, please
whatever
let them
map that
know.
is. North.
Please let them know in the training room our
Yep.
game just ended, and I will be there as soon as I can. And to thank them for me for holding the game. Oh God, Stevie wants on my lap now.
I let them know you were on the way.
All right. Congratulations. Once again to Poppy for going 2-0 here.